International terrorism. Germany. In 1940, the Dublin Review identified fascism as the opposite of Marxism, placing Marxism on the far left and fascism on the far right. Although Hitler attempted to represent himself in a central position to gain more support, his personality and actions often made it clear that he identified with the right wing. In 1925, the International Federation of Textile Workers Association labeled the Nazis as right-wing, and in 1928, the Foreign Policy Association Information Service, a non-profit American group, commented on the German elections, stating, "The parties of the extreme right are now two in number, the National Socialist Workers' Party and the German People's Freedom Movement," identifying the Nazis as the extreme right. Otto Strasser, a member of the Nazi Party who genuinely wanted to be in a Marxist group, confronted Hitler with the fact that the Nazis were increasingly pro-capitalists. The Great Depression, which began in 1929 with the Wall Street crash on the U.S. stock exchange, triggered a global economic downturn. Germany was the most affected as the American banks called in all their foreign loans at very short notice. Initially agreed upon under the Dawes Plan in 1924, these loans played a crucial role in Weimar's economic recovery from the hyperinflation disaster and were instrumental in funding German industries. This severely impacted Germany's economy, leading to an increase in unemployment from 4.5% to 24%. The number of unemployed individuals rose from 1.4 million to over 2 million. By the time Hitler became chancellor in January 1933, the unemployment number had skyrocketed to 6.1 million, causing widespread poverty and desperation. The dire economic condition made Germans aware of what they needed to do to structure a more extreme political system, ultimately leading to the destruction of German democracy. As the Great Depression unfolded globally, military regimes came to power in Germany, Italy, and Japan. In March 1930, German Chancellor Hermann Müller resigned due to the government's inability to tackle the rise of government spending caused by high unemployment. The new chancellor, Brüning, implemented harsh measures by cutting government expenditures, wages, and employment pay, further worsening the situation. The German parliament did not agree to his actions, resulting in President Hindenburg utilizing Article 48 of the Weimar Constitution, granting him the power to bypass laws that undermined the parliament. In desperate situations, where extreme ideologies emerge as simplistic solutions to complex problems, governments often have no choice but to adapt to dictatorship and impose extreme measures to survive. Most wars have been initiated against countries that resisted adopting the central banking system, opting instead to establish their own state currency to gain independence from external control. Germany too faced repercussions for this choice. In 1931, a severe banking crisis in Germany intensified the ongoing recession, ultimately plunging the nation into the Great Depression. This was triggered by the collapse of Donat Bank, one of Germany's major universal banks. As the political uncertainties loomed, investors withdrew their funds from Germany, contributing to the economic challenges faced by the nation. The worldwide economic depression, along with the rising power of labor unions and communist ideologies, swayed an increasing number of Germans to turn to the Nazi Party. In countries like Britain, France, Canada, and the Netherlands, the impact of the Great Depression was less severe, largely because these nations did not have the banking system and financial crises that the United States did. They had also left the gold standard earlier than the United States did. When Hitler came to power in January 1933, he decided to initiate an economic boycott of Jewish businesses in Germany, commencing in April 1933. This action was claimed to be a defensive reaction to the anti-Nazi boycott, which had been initiated a month earlier in the same year, shortly after Hitler took office. The anti-Nazi boycott was an international effort to refrain from purchasing German goods and products in protest against Hitler's party and the violence against Jews following his appointment as Chancellor of Germany. The boycott began in March 1933 in Europe and the United States, lasting until the start of World War II. Considering historical boycotts, a question arises. If a boycott was once done to help those in need, why can't we now boycott Israel for its inhumane actions toward Palestine? Considering the death toll of thousands of children and women, as well as entire families being bombarded. However, as of October 24, 2023, 36 states have enacted laws preventing large state contracts with companies boycotting or sanctioning Israel. The Israel Anti-Boycott Act, a proposed anti-BDS law, seeks to allow U.S. states to enact laws requiring contractors to pledge not to boycott any goods from Israel. For your information, the Marburg Files, a series of top-secret documents discovered in Germany in 1945 by the Duke of Windsor, emphasize how sympathetic the Duke of Windsor was towards Hitler's far-right regime and his associations with the Nazi Association. When Prescott Bush became a bank executive on Wall Street, he played a role in the Holocaust, even profiting from the genocidal actions of the Hitler regime. Despite America's entry into the war and significant information about the Nazis' policies, he continued to work and profit, engaging with the German businesses that financed Hitler's rise in power. It was also known that the money he earned from these dealings helped him to establish the Bush family fortune and set up its political dynasty.